The Department of Foreign Affairs to return to former Secretary Albert Del Rosario the 500,000 peso donation he made for the 22 fishermen in the Recto Bank incident. Some senators point out sovereignty issue in the planned Philippine-China joint investigation into the boat ramming incident near Recto Bank. President Rodrigo Duterte expresses dismay over the delay in the completion of the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea. A low-pressure area spotted in Aurora is seen to likely develop into a tropical depression within 48 hours. And San Miguel goes head-to-head with Alaska in the UNTV Cup PBA Legends Face-Off Finals. Good evening. Some senators reject the plan of a joint investigation between the Philippines and China on the Recto Bank incident. Meanwhile, Senator Franklin Drilon recommends the creation of an independent body to probe the incident. Nel Maribuhok clarifies why.
Lawmakers warn on the possible implications if the planned joint investigation of China and the Philippines on the Recto Bank incident proceeds. Senator Franklin Drilon opposes the said plan, saying the law sides with the Philippines. He says it is also clear there is a violation of international treaties also under the domestic laws in the incident. The senator adds the joint probe may create a credibility issue among others.
And not only is the credibility issue, you have a lot of legal complications and sovereignty issues.
For the former Justice Secretary, the said move will also affect the country's claim in the West Philippine Sea. Senator Drilon refers to the ruling of the Permanent Court of Arbitration in 2016, in which the arbitral court agreed that China has unlawfully interfered with the exercise of sovereign rights of the Philippines with respect to the resources of its exclusive economic zone or EEZ. Recto Bank is part of the EEZ. This is also the opinion of Senator Panfilo Lacson, who says that China cannot claim Recto Bank. He also argues that allowing the joint probe may be interpreted as a waiver of our right of ownership of the Recto Bank. For Senator Francis Pangilinan, the joint investigation is against the Fisheries Code. Under this law, the Philippine government has a mandate to ensure the safety and welfare of fishermen. Whoever violates this, even foreign violators, will need to prosecute. Meanwhile, Senator Joel Villanueva does not see any reason to do another probe as the country has already filed a protest with the United Nations International Maritime Organization. He emphasizes that the National Security Council must focus on the enforcement of the arbitral ruling. To probe the incident, Senator Drilon proposes the creation of an independent body just like what the previous administrations did when creating the Melo and Feliciano commissions.
Give that probe body, investigative body, jurisdiction to make recommendations, inquire into the Recto Bank incident, and submit the report to Congress, submit the report to the President. This body I would propose should be composed of men of independence, integrity. A retired Supreme Court justice is preferable. By having this, then we are able to resolve this issue with credibility.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Malacañang defends the plan to conduct a joint investigation of the Philippines and China on the Recto Bank incident. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte expresses dismay over the delay of the conclusion of the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea. Rosalie Cos explains why.
Malacañang stands firm that the result will be fair on the plan of the Philippines and China to conduct a joint investigation on the Recto Bank incident. The presidential spokesperson also insists China will never be able to control the process of investigation.
Unang-una, bakit naman tayo papayag makontrol?
Hindi ba tayo?
Mga Pilipino pa eh, wala naman, you should know us. Hindi makokontrol yun kasi ang guarantee mo dun yung karakter natin. Hindi tayo nagpapatalo.
Malacañang has mentioned before that President Rodrigo Duterte is open to China's suggestion on the joint probe. The president also wants to create a joint investigating committee with highly qualified and competent individuals from both the Philippines and China, and a third member from a neutral country. However, Secretary Panelo says there's still no final mechanism on the joint investigation, and a third party will only be necessary if the two countries will not agree on the results of the investigation.
You need a third party lang kung hindi kayo mag-agree. Eh kung mag-agree naman kayo, what do you need a third party for?
Meanwhile, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade confirms that the Philippine Coast Guard and the Maritime Industry Authority or Marina have submitted their report on their investigations on the Recto Bank incident to the Office of the President. On another note, presidential spokesperson Panelo reveals that President Duterte has expressed dismay over the delay of the negotiations on the Code of Conduct or COC in the South China Sea during the ASEAN Summit retreat of leaders in Bangkok. The Code of Conduct is a set of rules outlining the norms and rules and responsibilities or practices for claimant countries. For the chief executive, the longer the delay for an early conclusion of the COC, the higher the probability of maritime incidents happening. He also argues the greater chance for miscalculations that may spiral out of control in the disputed waters. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Bangkok, Thailand.
Former Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario's 500,000 peso donation for the Filipino fishermen involved in the Recto Bank incident has been returned. Mai Bermudez is in Quezon City to tell us why live. Yes, Mai?
Alex, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr., in his words, had to return the $500,000 peso donation of former Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario that he intends to give to 22 Filipino fishermen involved in the Recto Bank incident on June 9. Locsin, in his tweet, says the move is done with florid expressions of gratitude, adding the DFA cannot dispense donations and he certainly won't turn the donation over to another department. Del Rosario cursed his 500,000 pesos worth of check donation through the DFA on Wednesday to be sent to the said fishermen. But Del Rosario says in a text message he's not aware that Locsin has already returned the check, saying he will just find another party who can help him send the check donation. Del Rosario adds the donation is a manifestation of true care and empathy for the Filipino fishermen. Each of the distressed fisher folks have also received 50,000 pesos from Vice President Leni Robredo during her visit in Occidental Mindoro. Malacañang, meanwhile, has donated fiberglass boats, livelihood packages, sacks of rice, and cash assistance to the survivors of the maritime incident, as well as education grants for their children. And those were the latest updates, Alex.
Thank you, Mai Bermudez, reporting live from Quezon City. State Weather Bureau Pag-asa announced that the low pressure area or LPA being monitored inside the Philippine Area of Responsibility is likely to develop into a tropical depression within the next 48 hours. As of 3 p.m., the LPA was monitored within 610 kilometers east of Casiguran, Aurora. According to its latest advisory, Pag-asa said in case the LPA develops into a tropical depression, while inside PAR, it will be named Dodong. Meanwhile, cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms will be experienced in several parts of the country, including Metro Manila, Visayas, Mimaropa, Calabarzon, Bicol Region, Zamboanga Peninsula, Zambales, Bataan, and Aurora due to the prevalence of the southwest monsoon or habagat. The next weather advisory will be issued at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Millions of smartphone applications have been created for various uses and processes to date. And among all the apps, those which can be used for emergency situations are must-download applications. Anyway, they are for free. Monokson will tell us why.
In an emergency, your smartphone can be a lifeline. And we're not just talking about calling an ambulance. When you're lost, in need of first aid, stuck in a potentially dangerous situation, or even facing a natural disaster, these mobile apps can help. Here are some of such smartphone applications. Better download one or two now so you'll have them on hand when the need arises. Smartphones come with mapping apps that constantly log one's position in real time anywhere he goes. If you get lost, these mapping apps are a great help to find your way. But even if you rely on Apple Maps or Google Maps, they won't always save you from getting lost. So supplement them with a few other apps that help users who reach the middle of nowhere. The Here We Go app for Android and iOS devices can download in advance maps, so you can use it even without access to internet. When you're walking or driving, the app can give you directions, and when you need to ride a taxi or take any public transport, it can also provide pricing details. When in an unfamiliar environment with a language different from yours, Google Translate remains the best option to understand and be understood. The app can translate road signs using your phone camera. Just remember to download the languages you'll need ahead of time so you can access them offline later. If you need first aid, calling an ambulance is still the best option. While waiting, these apps can help you perform first aid. The St. John Ambulance First Aid application is reputable, well-designed first aid app. It covers everything from choking and drowning to colds and allergic reactions. Step-by-step illustrations and voice instructions ensure that you follow the correct procedures. For Android users, download the Offline Survival Manual. It provides excellent first aid information, offers advice on staying safe, finding shelter, making fire, and much more. If you want to send an SOS when visiting a new place alone or with a relative or a stranger, you'd feel safer knowing that a trusted friend is aware of your plans. The React mobile app can help you in dangerous situations. First, add a list of trusted contacts into the app. Then hit the Follow Me button to invite them to keep an eye on your global positioning system or GPS location so they can make sure you get home safely. Tap the Help Me button to alert your friends and call emergency services at the same time. If you face a natural disaster, depending on where you live, you may regularly have to deal with typhoon, wildfires, earthquakes, or other natural disasters. The Pure Force Citizens app can provide real-time alert of natural disasters. There is a 911 button for emergencies and a complete directory and hotline numbers from the President's Hotline to help in case of sexual harassments and even tourist concerns. The Weather Underground app excels at providing severe weather alerts well in advance. The app will also guide you where you'll be safe to stay until the storm ends. And be well informed. Download Facebook and Twitter and follow utility companies such as Meralco, Maynilad, and Manila Water to be updated on any service interruptions. To be aware of the traffic situation, follow the MMDA and UNTV News and Rescue apps for fresh news. Always remember that technology can be useful, not only for recreation, but for more suitable things in life. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
Good evening. The Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System insists that giving emergency powers to President Rodrigo Duterte is not necessary to solve the current water crisis. Ray Pelayo reports why.
President Rodrigo Duterte faced the officials of the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System or MWSS and water concessionaires last March amid the water shortage experienced by Manila Water customers in some parts of Metro Manila that month. Weeks passed and the problem eventually subsided after solutions were applied. But a wider scope of water service interruption are now being experienced as the water level of the Angat Dam, which supplies the metropolitan area water, has dipped to its 160-meter critical level. MWSS Administrator Reynaldo Velasco says it is not necessary to hold another meeting with the President to solve the problem.
Kasi kahit anong gawin natin, kahit saan tayo mag-meet, kahit saan, ang critical dito yung tubig. Dadagdag ba yung tubig sa hanggat? Kahit na sinong Superman dito, kung hindi talaga ulan, walang kakayanin yan. Walang magaling dito kung hindi makikipagtulungan ay mag-cooperate ang weather.
Velasquez notes that even emergency power cannot address the issue. For him, this emergency power can be used in fast-tracking the construction of government projects like dams instead.
Kasi kahit nabigyan natin ng emergency power, kung makikita ng emergency power, saan tayo kukuha ng tubig? If in case we need some emergency power, is for the future kasi.
Some of these dam projects are the Wawa and Kaliwa dams. The official also emphasizes that one of the reasons why the construction of government's infrastructure projects is the bidding process. The MWSS calls on the water concessionaires to abide by the announced schedules of water service interruption. The water regulator also appeals to affected residents to store water enough for what they need in times of water service interruptions.
Kasi pag nag-ipon sila ng sobra doon, baka naman maapektuhan ang reservoir ng ating mga concessionaire.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The PNP Highway Patrol Group will transfer the motorcycle lane on EDSA. This is to cut the travel time of motorcycle riders from Cubao in Quezon City to Makati area. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police Highway Patrol Group or PNP-HPG say it is a challenging feat but they will try to help the government ease the worsening traffic situation on Epifanio de los Santos Avenue or EDSA. This follows after President Rodrigo Duterte's pronouncement earlier this month that come December, the travel time from Cubao to Makati will be shortened to only 5 minutes. In a turnover ceremony of 50 crash helmet to the Highway Patrol Group from ride-hailing firm Angkas, HPG Director Brigadier General Roberto Fajardo explained that their meetings with the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA and the Department of Transportation or DOTR aims to continue finding solutions to the severe traffic congestion on EDSA. Fajardo says they will transfer the motorcycle lane to the third lane on EDSA beside the bus lane. The general explains this is to ensure that motorcycle would not occupy the fast lane. The HPG will also remove all bus terminals on EDSA to achieve their objectives.
Makikita nyo kasi yung motorcycle lane nasa fast lane, di ba? I-move natin to dito sa pangatlong lane. Bus, dito yung motorcycle lane. Why? Para yung fast lane talagang mabilis. Hindi nag-aagawan yung motorcycle nagipagpatintero sa mga mabibilis na sasakyan.
Fajardo admits that he tried the 5 minutes challenge and he reached Guadalupe Makati from Cubao in 4 minutes and 58 seconds. However, he did a challenge in the morning with motorcycle escorts. Fajardo says the 5 minutes challenge is possible if a rider traveled during the wee hours.
Wala naman sinabi si Presidente kung anong oras at anong araw, di ba? So kaya, di ba? But we will try our best. We will try our best to comply with the orders of the President.
On the other hand, for some motorists, it is impossible to reach Makati City from Cubao in 5 minutes even if the HPG removed the bus terminals along EDSA and even they transferred the motorcycle lane in EDSA's third lane.
Yung sabi nating rush hour, sigurado yan hindi kakayanin. Mga 30 minutes is enough para makarating din sa from Cubao to Makati.
Kahit dun ka sa bus lane?
Kahit na, hindi kakayanin kasi may mga sasakyan na makakasabay ka eh.
Hindi po talaga kakayanin kahit motor. Kasi ultimo motor hindi ka na makakasingit sa sobrang traffic. Pwede siguro kung linggo, araw ng linggo. Kayang-kaya siya.
It can also be noted that the MMTA has earlier said it is mathematically impossible to travel Cubao to Makati in just 5 minutes. President Duterte's promise for the 5-minute travel time along EDSA has also been met with skepticism. Leah Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Krame.
Prices of petroleum products will rise for the second consecutive week this June. Shell, Petrogas, Caltex, and Sea Oil will be slapping an additional 30 centavos per liter on gasoline and 55 centavos per liter on diesel effective Tuesday, June 25. Companies which carry kerosene will hike prices by 45 centavos per liter. Other companies are expected to follow the same rates. The adjustments are in line with developments in the international market. The speakership race in the lower house gets closer and closer. Some aspiring House speakers have been seen in some of President Rodrigo Duterte's events. Harleen Delgado explains why.
The office of later Representative-elect Martin Romualdez released last week photos of him joining President Rodrigo Duterte visit the Philippine Army 8th Infantry Division in Camp General Vicente Lucban in Catbalogan City, Samar. He also attended the oath-taking of Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio, Representative-elect Paulo Duterte, and Vice Mayor Sebastian Baste Duterte, where the president was also present. Romualdez has no statement if he and the president talked about the House speakership. Meanwhile, Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco and Taguig Representative-elect Alan Peter Cayetano were both with the president in his official trip to Thailand this weekend. Cayetano said he will let the president choose among them the next House Speaker.
So, lumabas naman din sa inyo sa balita that the president will make his choice on June 28. And, as head of the political coalition of the different political parties, in the last 15-20 years, ganun naman ang naging patakaran. So I think confident naman lahat ng kongresista that the president will make the right choice.
Last night, the Partido Demokratiko Pilipino, Lakas ng Bayan or PDP Laban, conducted a party caucus where Cayetano clarified that as the party's executive vice president, he will support Velasco if President Duterte chooses him. The palace has earlier stated that the president will not intervene in the lower house in choosing their next speaker. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Anti-Red Tape Authority confirms the Ease of Doing Business Act continues to be implemented despite the lack of official implementing rules and regulations. April Senatosa will tell us why.
It was on May 28, 2018, when President Rodrigo Duterte signed the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018. The law aims to simplify transactions in government agencies and offices. However, the government has not yet issued the official implementing rules and regulations, or IRR, of the law from the day it was signed. Tasked to oversee the implementation of the Act, the Anti-Red Tape Authority, or ARTO, confirms the law is still being implemented despite the lack of the IRR.
Even without the IRR, the law is already effective. So the Anti-Red Tape Authority is already implementing its mandate to formulate the national policy and oversee reforms to cut the red tape and ensure ease of doing business in the country.
The authority admits the president must appoint an ARTA Director General first to promulgate such IRR.
Under the law, only the regular Director General and the Secretary of the Department of Trade and Industry and the Civil Service Chairperson can issue or promulgate the IRR.
The ARTA official says they have submitted a request to be given authority by the Office of the Executive Secretary for the issuance of the revised IRR. The Office of Executive Secretary Salvador Medaldea, however, has yet to respond to the request. On another note, the ARTA wants to improve the Philippines' position in the ranking of World Bank's Ease of Doing Business to make it to the top 20. As stated in the World Bank's Doing Business 2019 Training for Reform report, the Philippines rank dropped 11 places from the 113th place in 2017 to the 124th place in 2018.
So that by the year 2022, before the term of the President ends, ang ating target po, ang goal natin, ma-improve yung ating ranking within the top 20.
Last Friday, President Duterte bared his plan of issuing an executive order on red tape, which comes more than a year after he issued a memorandum requiring government entities to address all public requests and concerns within 15 days. The president stressed he will not allow government officers to prolong processes to extort money. The ARTA hopes the chief executive would issue both the order and the IRR at the same time. April Senedoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
San Miguel and Alaska teams will meet at the UNTV Cup PBA Legends Face-Off Finals on July 8th. Victor Cosare tells us why.
The San Miguel team did not need another semi-final game in order to reach the finals of the UNTV Cup off-season PBA Legends Face-Off. Carrying a twice-to-beat advantage, San Miguel defeated a Pure Foods team in yesterday's hardcore action at the Pasig City Sports Center. It wasn't a cakewalk for SMB, with the opponent's intense offense led by Glenn Capasio, El Capitan Alvin Patrimonio, and Roger Yap. But in the end, it was San Miguel who led as the final buzzer of the ball game went off with 79-70 on the scoreboard. Kiko Adriano, Daniel Defonso, and Dondon Hontiveros were all hailed as the best players of the game.
Sa zone defense namin mukhang pinag-aralan nila, tsaka mukhang nag-practice sila kasi halos nila sa labas, shoot. Kaya nahirapan kami.
Expected namin na papakita nila magandang start. Buti naka-adjust kami.
Itong makarating kami dito at mapasama kami dito sa tournament ni Kuya is champion na kami. Especially yung beneficiaries namin, sobra-sobra. Malaking bagay ito at napakalaking bagay at maitutulong ito especially sa mga kasama natin mga players.
Great execution, fast break, USCJ finds and she said over. Johnny on the run, Johnny all the way!
And in the Alaska Ginebra hardcourt action, with final scores 84-69, Alaska beat Ginebra to earn the other slot in the PBA Legends Face-Off Finals.
To be back in the finals. Parang it's a great habit for us, even before when I used to play, no? Parang naging habit na namin, yung character namin. Every game, we need to play possession by possession.
Pido, the Fireman Harencio, Bal David, and Marlo Aquino led the Ginebra team with combined 41 points.
Alam mo, masaya ako naglalaro dito at the same time kasi this is for the foundation, this is for the mga players may mga problema, may sakit, kaya inspired ako to play.
After yesterday's doubleheader semifinal games, Alaska and San Miguel will meet on July 8 at the Araneta Coliseum for the much-awaited PBA Legends Face-Off Finals, while the battle for the third will be played by Ginebra and Pure Foods. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue.
Welcome back to Y News. The National Water Resources Board decides to maintain a lower water allocation for Metro Manila as the Angat Dam hits below critical water level. Meanwhile, the country's State Weather Bureau announced they are expecting significant rainfall in the Angat watershed possibly next month. Joanne Nano tells us why.
From the previous 40 cubic meters per second water allocation for the Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System or MWSS, the National Water Resources Board or NWRB tasked work on water resources and potable water has reduced the water allocation to 36 cms as the water in Angat Dam breached its 160-meter critical level last Saturday. As of 6 a.m. today, the water level in the dam was at 159.09 meters. The Angat Dam Technical Working Group held another meeting earlier today and decided to maintain the lower water allocation for Metro Manila until the end of this month.
At least for the month of June, no? So although may nakita pong low pressure area, but this might not bring significant rainfall within Angat watershed. No?
Because of this, more areas will experience no water supply and extended hours of water service interruptions will be implemented. Based on Manila's official Facebook account, several customers in Cavite will endure 17 hours without a water supply, 15 hours for customers in Malabon and Caloocan, 12 hours for those in Parañaque and Pasay City, while customers within Las Piñas and Muntinlupa cities will have no water supply for 7 hours. Meanwhile, Manila Water customers may expect 12 to 17 hours of no water supply. The same is advised for residents in some parts of Quezon City, Mandaluyong, San Juan, Marikina, Makati, Manila, Pasig, Parañaque, and Taguig cities in Metro Manila, as well as several portions of Rizal. Based on the NWRB's estimates, without any rainfall in the coming days, the Angat Dam's water level might plunge to record low 157 meters, which happened in 2010. Labor group Bukluran ng mga manggagawang Pilipino call on the government and the water concessionaires to limit the use of water of several establishments such as golf courses and swimming pools. Several businessmen are in favor of this move, like Adora Espiritu, an administration officer of a resort and function hall in Malate, Manila. Espiritu says they have reduced the schedule of water replacement in their swimming pool, what with a limited water supply in the metropolis.
Hindi rin kami masyadong nag-accept din ngayon ng events gawa nga ng water shortage namin. Kung dati po once a month, ngayon gagawin namin once every 2 months. Yung sa chlorine and yung sa vacuum talagang dati kasi once a day talaga after ng pero ngayon talaga every hour halos talagang inaano na namin siya.
On the other hand, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAG-ASA projects there would be significant rainfall expected to come in the Angat watershed beginning July.
Kung magkaroon naman tayo ng significant rainfall for July, which is in a period of 1 or 2 weeks, na may ulan talaga na significant, then paunti-unti na pong dadami yung recharge.
PAG-ASA explains that if significant rainfall persists in 4 consecutive months, the water level in the Angat Dam may recover to its 180-meter normal operating level, which may happen in October. Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
President Rodrigo Duterte says the trade war between the United States and China is taking a toll on global growth. The Philippine chief executive also insists countries most responsible for climate change must be held accountable. Rosalie Cos explains why.
President Rodrigo Duterte says the United States of America and China must both take the high road and resolve their differences. The president argues the trade war between the two countries creates uncertainty. He also insists this trade war can hinder the ongoing processes of economic integration. The chief executive made the statement during the plenary session of the 34th Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Summit in Bangkok, Thailand last Saturday. The president also said the ASEAN member states must strengthen their support for a rules-based and open multilateral trading system and reject the zero-sum approach to international economic relations. The Philippines also hopes the major issues on the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP will be ironed out and reach to a conclusion in November 2019. The RCEP is a proposed international free trade agreement of 16 countries, including the 10 member states of ASEAN. Aside from this, President Duterte mentioned during the plenary that countries most responsible for climate change should be held liable. He also argued the ASEAN member states must adapt and build resilience in the region. Meanwhile, the 10 leaders of the ASEAN member states reaffirmed the declaration to combat marine debris. 4 countries in ASEAN are considered the world's top marine plastic polluters, including the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand. ASEAN member states agreed to significantly prevent and reduce marine debris through cooperation with the public and private sectors. Among the innovative solutions to accomplish this is the circular economy and the 3 Rs, or reduce, reuse, and recycle.
ASEAN agreed to focus on the issue of marine debris, which has a widespread impact on the well-being, the health and hygiene of people, as well as on marine animals and resources.
President Duterte also appeals to the leaders of the ASEAN member states to redouble collective efforts to counter regional threats such as terrorism, violent extremism, transnational crimes, and illegal drugs. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Bangkok, Thailand.
And for the news abroad, here's Pauline Ompico reporting live from Tokyo, Japan. Pauline, good evening.
Good evening, William. A deep earthquake of magnitude 7.5 struck off the coast of East Timor and Indonesia on Monday, June 24, with the shaking felt in Australia's northern city of Darwin, about 700 kilometers from the epicenter, but no damage was reported. Witnesses in Darwin told of shaking and trembling as they were evacuated out of buildings in the city center.
Oh yeah, but I never felt anything like it. I've lived here just about all my life. I've never felt anything like that. It's the most intensive one I can remember.
Oh, it just started shaking slightly and then it got worse. And then the doors started rattling and the glasses all rattling. And then we just got asked to leave.
The U.S. Geological Survey said the quake, initially recorded at a magnitude of 7.2, hit out at sea at a depth of 220 kilometers. There is no tsunami threat because of the quake's depth, the Hawaii-based Pacific Tsunami Warning Center said in a statement. FedEx Corporation has apologized to Huawei Technologies for the unauthorized rerouting of packages sent by the Chinese telecommunications equipment maker. Ferdy Petalio explains why.
U.S. courier delivery services giant FedEx Corporation said on Sunday an operational error prevented a Huawei Technologies package from being delivered to the United States. Just weeks after the U.S. delivery company said an error led to the Chinese firm's packages being misdirected. Amid a bruising trade dispute between Washington and Beijing, China threatened late in May to unveil an unprecedented hit list of unreliable foreign firms, groups, and individuals that harm the interests of Chinese companies. China launched an investigation into FedEx earlier this month over Huawei parcels delivered to the wrong address without giving details about the deliveries in question. On Friday, the U.S. Commerce Department said it was adding several Chinese companies and a government-owned institute involved in supercomputing with military applications to its national security entity list that bars them from buying U.S. parts and components without government approval. Huawei said it was reviewing its relationship with FedEx after the mishandling of its packages. For Di Petalio, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the news from the other parts of the world. Back to you, William.
Yes, thank you very much, Pauline Ompico, reporting live from Tokyo, Japan. Italy and Sweden are making their final preparations to bid for hosting the 2026 Winter Olympics before the International Olympic Committee announces the winner Monday at the 134th session. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
The International Olympic Committee said the 2026 Winter Olympics will be held either in Sweden's Stockholm and Åre or Italy's Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo. Delegations from the two countries arrived in Lausanne to meet President of the International Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, on Sunday. The Swedish delegation had a final meeting with the IOC before making their presentation on Monday.
I have a good feeling, but I know it's a really tight race, and we really have to make good presentations tomorrow, because it comes down to that tomorrow, I think, to make the final presentation as good as possible, and also of course to be able to answer all the questions from the IOC members in a good way.
The Italian delegation is led by President of the Italian National Olympic Committee Giovanni Malago, and Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte will arrive in Lausanne on Monday. Italy hosted Winter Olympics twice, in Cortina in 1956 before Turin in 2006. The country wants to hold another one.
I'm sure that we will we feel positive, we are sure to convince them.
Meanwhile, the International Olympic Committee inaugurated its new headquarters in Lausanne on Sunday. Built at a cost of about $147.76 million, the modern glass and steel structure has a solar panel roof and was constructed in the place of the old headquarters on the shores of Lake Geneva. According to the IOC, the new building, designed by Danish architects 3XN and inspired by the shape of a dove with a large central staircase made of 5 rings, meets stringent environmental and sustainability standards. It will house all 500 IOC employees under one roof instead of several locations around Luzon, as was the case in the past. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue.
A group of musicians in Congo who could not afford to buy instruments started making their own from rubbish and recycled materials. Nina Armilio tells us why.
A garbage dump in the Democratic Republic of Congo's bustling capital Kinshasa may be an odd place for most people to seek inspiration. But for Congolese musician and the founder of Fulo Mudsiki group Pichko Krane, this is the perfect place to find the recycled material he will use to create his band's unique sound.
I see this bottle and I can see that it will provide a good sound. It will give me a good do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So this will make a good music for our music.
Fulo Mudsiki, meaning music from the garbage in the local Lingala language, has one special feature that makes them unique. Rather than buying instruments, band members create their own from pieces of rubbish.
I came here because I'm looking for what I can use to make musical instruments. But I also want to bring attention to the problem of waste management in the city. Kinshasa has become very dirty. That is why I'm taking some of the waste to create musical instruments.
Using scrap metal, plastic bottles, tins or water pipes to make their instruments, the group has gained a following who love their signature rhythms and efforts to promote recycling in a country that produces over 9,000 tons of waste daily. A lack of proper waste management and recycling facilities has seen Kinshasa become littered with discarded plastic bags and other waste, which often blocks the city's drainage system. Fulo Mudsiki says their music not only helps raise awareness on the need for recycling, but also shows how much can be achieved by individuals.
My wish is to see this music genre recognized worldwide and also raise awareness on the importance of waste management, especially in Africa. We want to find a good representative who can help us spread this message through our music and also train young people to practice recycling.
Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this June 24, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
Una-una, bakit naman tayo papayag makontrol? Mga Pilipino pa wala naman you should know us. Hindi makokontrol yun kasi ang guarantee mo dun yung character natin. Hindi tayo nagpapatalo.
At least for the month of June, no? So although may mga nakita pong low pressure area, but this might not bring significant rainfall, no? Within Angat watershed, no?
Yung bus lane will be strictly enforced. Yung mga terminals along the highway of EDSA will be removed. Makikita nyo kasi yung motorcycle lane nasa fast lane, di ba? I-move natin to dito sa pangatlong lane. Para yung fast lane talagang mabilis, hindi nag-aagawan yung motorcycle naging-patintero sa mga mabibilis na sasakyan.
Even without the IRR, the law is already effective. So the Anti-Red Tape Authority is already implementing its mandate to formulate the national policy and oversee reforms to cut the red tape and ensure ease of doing business.
It's always grateful, no, to be back in the finals. Parang it's a great habit for us, even before when I used to play, no. Parang naging habit na namin yung character namin. Every game, we need to play possession by possession.